Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, I was recently on holiday, and after a few hours on the beach, and after a few beers, I got a little bit bored. So I did what any petrol head would do, and I went onto eBay, and I started looking at cars. Specifically, unusual cars near me for sale by auction. They're the ones that seem to excite me the most. After a quick look, I saw a 1993 Nissan 100Nx in cobalt blue. And it was based about 30 miles from me, so not far at all. It was an auction with no reserve, and the starting bid was £500. So I thought, that's quite an unusual car, that'd certainly make for a good video. I always quite liked early 90s Nissans, they were always quite interesting. They've definitely lost their way in recent years. I remember they did the 100NX, the 200SX and the 300ZX. They're really good cars. So with the sound of the waves crashing against the sea, I thought, I'll just bid £500 and see what happens. So I did. And then to be fair, another mango daiquiri arrived and I forgot all about it. And then about 7 days later, my phone pinged and it was a notification from eBay. I'd won this 100NX. Initially I was pleased, and then I thought, hang on a minute, what am I going to do with this? I've got no purpose for it. The last thing I need right now is another project. But because I'm a man of my word, I was committed at that point, so I couldn't really back out. I hate these people on eBay that you get all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, my cat ran over my keyboard, I can't proceed with the deal. No, it didn't, you idiot. Or, worse still, the ones that just completely blank you, completely ignore you once they've won something. So I just didn't want to be that person. So I arranged collection, and I paid him for it, blind. That's what you do, isn't it? Obviously. I've had this 100NX delivered to the storage yard next to my mechanics, so I haven't actually seen it yet. It's cobalt blue, and the advert was quite, well, I hope it was quite honest. It says it needs some welding, it needs a clutch, it needs 4 tyres, but it would make quite an easy project for somebody. So I just hope that's right. I'm quite excited to go and see it. That's why I thought I'd bring you guys along. It's been years since I've seen one of these cars. In fact, I think there are less than 100 now on the UK roads. They're very rare. Most just rotted away and got scrapped. I imagine the scrappage scheme in the late 2000s didn't really help the poor NX. Before I paid the guy for the NX, I did do a vehicle history check using Car Vertical, and it was all clear. Now, it's really important that you do one of these checks before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. You'll have heard me mention Car Vertical on many videos before. They're a long-term sponsor of the channel, but they're just really user-friendly and really thorough. So all you do is go to carvertical.com, type in the vehicle reg. In this case, it was L911, 911, 911, hope that's not an omen, EUD, and then check vehicle. It isn't an expensive check, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code. You'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do if you use the promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, or alternatively, click the link below in the video description. As you can see, it's never been stolen, it's never been written off, it's never had a mileage rollback, and there's no outstanding finance, thankfully. It's a 1.6 manual NX with a T-bar convertible roof. And if we scroll down to the MOT history, you can see the last MOT was back in 2015. So this has been off the road for nearly a decade. And that's what worries me slightly. If the old tin worms set in, there might not be much left of the sills. So thanks Car Vertical for sponsoring today's video. And like I say, if you're in the market for a used car or bike, you must do a vehicle history check first. Don't forget, you'll save yourself 20% with my promo code HIGHPEAK. Right, let's go and look at the old NX. Well, here we are then, my 1993 Nissan 100NX, finished in cobalt blue. They did 2 blues, they did marine blue and cobalt blue. Marine blue is a little bit darker. They also did them in red and white and a few other colours. Nothing too adventurous. But it looks quite good, doesn't it? I mean, it looked alright on the photographs on eBay, to be honest, but now I've seen it in the flesh, it's not too bad. For some reason this area here on 100NXs, see this bit down here, always kind of goes a different colour. I think it must be made from a different material from the rest of the panels, so it always fades. Might have to get that painted. It's quite a good looking thing, isn't it? Now, according to the eBay advert, it needs 4 new tyres because, oh, look at the cracks in the sidewall there. The seller told me that every time he pumps them up, after a few weeks, they just go back down. And these have been sitting, haven't they? Flat for a long time. So it needs 4 tyres, but they're only 14, so they won't be expensive. Probably 40 quid a corner or something like that. The wheels are actually in quite good condition. They don't need refurbishing, do they? That's a Goodyear Eagle Touring, but yeah, there's no life left in that. On the back, what have we got? This is a Max XXL. I don't know. Again, it looks very old and very perished. The worst bit then really, well, bodywork wise, the rear arches. So you can just see where they've bubbled. Somebody's tried to do a little homemade DIY repair there, and doesn't look the best, does it? A little bit of rust down the side of the door edge as well. I mean, you're always going to get that with a car of this age, aren't you? So I think once it's past its MOT, as long as it's not completely rotten, and I've replaced the tyres, then I'll have to take it to Jimmy and get him to make it look a bit more presentable. This is another common issue with 100Nx's. The spoiler down here the paint always seems to flake. See this? Looks a bit of a mess. So I think it won't be too much of a job really for Jimmy to do the 2 rear arches. It's not going to be perfect, but it will look better. And the rear spoiler. In fact, he may as well do the whole tailgate because we've got some more rust here as well. The trouble is with this, see it's blistering down here. It will always come back. It'll look better for maybe a few months or years, but rust always creeps back. It's even got its original, well, I guess it's original. There must have been a Citroen and a Nissan dealer. And it's the old style font. So they're probably the original plates. Now this arch, interestingly, it isn't as bad, is it? Just starting to bubble again. For its age, I mean, it's 31 years old, this car. It's not too bad, is it? Difficult to tell though, really, what lies beneath. There's the old T-bar roof, so that lifts off, and then, I doubt they're here actually, but there should be 2 bags in the boot where the glass roof rests. This is alright really, isn't it? Quite happy with this already. So we've got 1 key. We've even got, look at this keyring. Focus, there we go. Nissan 100Nx. Let's have a look in the boot then, shall we? It's not working for some reason. Now, I was chatting to a colleague about this, and he actually worked for Nissan, Chapel House Nissan, where the Tesla dealer is in Stockport, back in the early 90s, so he remembers these cars very well. Now, according to the description, the inside was quite clean, which it is, but there's a bit of wear on the bolster, which there is. I can get my trimmer on that, put some new foam in, and repair it. That's a nice easy fix. It is quite clean though, this interior. It smells of 90s, if you know what I mean. It's just got that whiff about it. So you pull this little lever down there for the boots or push it for fuel. So give it a yank. That's very heavy. We need some new boot struts there. Now in the back, yes, we've got a new clutch, which needs to be fitted. And they're the original bags. You see those kind of, I don't know what they are, leatherette, vinyl, whatever it is. That's where the T-bar roof is housed. That's good, isn't it? And I think they're the sunshades. So if you don't want all the light in the cabin, you can just attach those. That's all right then, isn't it? I'd like to have a look under the boot floor there for rust, but boot struts don't want to cooperate. Let's have a look under the bonnet then. So these have a little 1.6 litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, and they're a chain-driven engine, so they are quite reliable. Now, early NXs came with a carburettor. A later one like this switched to fuel injection. So this is something like, I think it's 91 horsepower. A little tray there for the battery. Could see the floor as well. But yeah, it's quite a reliable little engine, that. There's not an awful lot of rust under the bonnet though. Usually you'd expect to see it here, wouldn't you? But we're all good. Oh, look at that. Warning, this vehicle contains asbestos. It's not something you see every day, is it? That all looks pretty tidy though under here, doesn't it? Quite impressed with my £500 tipsy Bermuda Beach purchase. Perhaps I could do with an oil change. Yeah, my plan with this is to MOT it and then give it a service, replace the tyres, then take it for paint. And I'm not really sure what else after that. I just think there are so few of these left on the roads. We need to save one, don't we? Don't want to keep scrapping all these little modern classics. So inside it's done 141,000 miles, which for a 30-year-old car isn't too bad, but then saying that, it's done nothing for the last 10 years, has it? Let's fire her up then. So I remember this. If you put the key in, look, it's a bit like a Jeep or a Chrysler. It won't let you take the key out until you press that button. So key in, there we go. Can you see this? It won't let you take the key out until you press that. My parents had a Sony stereo like that in a Shogun as a kid. And those little beeps then instantly took me back. Right, so let's fire this up then. So, are we ready? Well, that's pretty sweet actually. We've got electric mirrors there. Fog lamps. This is a nice clean interior. To say it's done 140,000 miles. There's no wear on the steering wheel, that's all in good order. And look at all the buttons and dials and everything. Well, there aren't many to be fair, but everything's in good condition. Quite pleased with that. There should be a pull down cover there, shouldn't there? But it's obviously snapped. You can just see where some plastic's snapped off it there. Ashtray, cigarette lighter. What have we got then? So it's a 5-speed manual. They also did it in automatic. We've got a little cubby hole there. 2 rear seats. It's all quite clean, this. And then the T-bar roof, look, you pull on that lever there when the door's open or with the windows down, and then you just lift off the glass. And you can lock it as well, so no one steals it. This was quite a cool car back in the day, wasn't it? In here then, what have we got? So we've got the original owner's manual. Nissan 100Nx. Various receipts and things, a logbook. Well, that's all good. Have you seen this, by the way, guys? This is weird, this. So, you got 2 window switches here. That does the driver's side. That does the passenger side. Nothing weird about that, is there? But that little button there also does the driver's window. How strange is that? Can't think of another car that's got 2 driver's window switches. How strange. What else can I show you then? I mean, this hasn't had an MOT in 9 years, so I can't take it out on the roads. And my brake warning light's on. Sounds good though. I think, should we take it for a little drive around this scrapyard? Just see how it performs? Why not? Well, here we go then. First time driving the 100NX. This was, of course, the replacement for the Nissan Sunny Coupe. Slight sort of slight noise there on the clutch. Clutch is very high. No wonder there's a new clutch in the boot. The biting point is right up here. It's like driving a Peugeot. Brakes are grindy, so I imagine it'll need new discs and pads. Got power assisted steering. Horn works. Doesn't feel like a 30-year-old car, this. This is back when Nissans were good. Well, this is a very short test drive, this, admittedly. Apologies for that. But I think, well, I can't really go too far and it kind of... I think what I'm going to do then is drive it around to my mechanics, which is all private land, by the way, before you try and report me, and get them to MOT it, see what it needs. Get it up on a ramp and see how bad the welding is. Because the eBay seller did tell me that it needed welding, so it won't be a surprise, that, to be honest. But let's just crack on with it. So we'll weld it, replace the tyres. We may as well do the clutch while it's in, give it a fresh service, and whatever else they find. But I think... Is that thrust bearing noise? Can you hear that? Possibly. I'm quite impressed with that though so far. Give me my key back, there we go. Yeah, quite cool, isn't it? Just reminded me to take my fascia off my stereo. I think that's all I can show you for now then, isn't it? Let me crack on with the work. I'll try and include you more on this one. I'll try and show you what I'm doing as and when I'm doing it. So we'll do the welding. I think it's the sills, to be honest. It'll be both sills, probably. And then we'll crack on with the work. I'll go and order the tyres, I think. Right, I'll see you later on. Wish me luck. And we're back with the 100NX, and I've got an update for you. In fact, I could do with your advice. So after we last spoke, I gave the keys to my mechanic and asked them to do an MOT test just to find out exactly what was wrong with it. Now you might think that's a waste of 40 quid, but sometimes when you're dealing with a car like this, that's the best thing to do. Because then of course you get a fail sheet, a very lengthy fail sheet in the case of this NX, and then you can just kind of tick through the jobs. And then you know once all the jobs are done, it'll pass. That was my theory. That's what I did 7 or 8 years ago with my old Range Rover Classic. I honestly think that's the best thing to do, because then straight away you've got a to-do list. Would you like to know the to-do list on this? Right, straight away then it needed 4 tyres. So I've had the tyres replaced. We've gone with some, what are they called? Nova Force HPs. So we've got a full set of Nova Force. They were about 180 quid, so they're not too expensive. You'll notice I've taken the T-bar roof off today because it's a nice warm day. It's got 2 broken springs, so they need to be replaced. They're not too expensive, you're talking maybe 60 or 80 pounds per side. So I'm going to get those done, and it also needs the clutch fitting. That's fine. I've ordered the boot struts. They were quite expensive and they're coming from China. China. They were 60 pounds. But the worst bit was the rust. It is quite serious. It needs both sills replacing because there's nothing left. And, well, in fact, I took some videos, so I'll put some videos over there so you can see exactly what's wrong. As you can see, there's just very little left. Everywhere that you can see here is just rotted away. So it needs an awful lot of welding and new steel. I've had a price from a welder to do all the welding and replace the sills of £1,250. So it is quite a lot of money really, isn't it, for a £500 car? But, I keep saying but, don't I? It is a bit of a big but. It's such a rare car, this. There are only 47 of them left on the UK roads, or licensed anyway. So you just never see them, which means I just can't bring myself to scrap it. I just can't do it. In fact, this one's rarer still because this is manual. There are only 31 licensed manual NXs on the road. I can't scrap it, can I? I've got to fix it. I think then, bear in mind I paid just £500 for this car, another 120 to ship it down here, 180 for wheels, 1250 for the welding, 60 for the boot struts, probably another £300 or £400 for all the other work that it needs. I'm going to get a full service done, drain the coolant, all that sort of stuff. That's before the body work. You might think I'm mad now, but, here's the thing. If I can get this done for around £3,000 all in, I'm pretty sure it's not worth an awful lot more than that. I think it's still worth £2,995 retail. But I just don't think I'll lose any money on it. I don't think. And I will have saved a proper, you know, genuine, rare classic. That's my plan. It's not great business, granted, but I'm a petrol head and you just get a little bit obsessed sometimes. Now, at the start of this, I said that I needed your help and advice, and that is because I need some parts. Let me explain why. Now, as I explained, I paid just £500 for this cobalt blue NX on eBay. And I think we've all been there, haven't we? You buy something that you're kind of unsure about, and then you might regret it. So what would any sane person do at that point? Would they just walk away from it? Or, well, I might as well just show you, hadn't I? So, I bought 2. Let me explain, because this does need some explaining. I saw this car for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and it was in Southport, so only about an hour from me. And I thought, well, it was for sale for £700, so I made the guy an offer of £500. We eventually settled on 6, but I thought, what I've got here then is the perfect donor vehicle. I just thought, now I've got 2 100Nxs, I'm pretty sure we can make one good one out of those 2. That was my plan. But then when I actually saw it, I thought, I can't do it. I can't break one for parts. They're just that rare. As a petrol head, I can't bring myself to do it. This one is the same year as that, so it's a 1993 L. This one's a little bit younger. This one's a December car, whereas that one's an August car. But I'm splitting hairs really. They're both 1.6 petrols. That one's a manual, but this one's an automatic, which makes it even rarer. There are only 16, and that's 1/6, licensed automatic NXs in the UK. How rare is that? There are probably more Bugattis. Now, this looks a bit rough, granted, but it's actually in better nick than that one. So if you look around this one's white, obviously. The paintwork's very dull, but I'm pretty sure it will come back with a good buff. This one's got the pop-out aerial, which hasn't broken, unlike the blue one. It's just, overall, it's in better condition. This rear wheel arch does need some attention. I think somebody's mended this with what looks like yeso or polyfiller. It's not a great job. And weirdly, we've got odd wheels. Now, these are aftermarket alloys, not the standard ones like on the blue one. But we've only got, let me show you, we've only got 3 of them. So what I'm going to have to do then, guys, is either find another matching wheel like this. You see that one? That one's the spare, and that's the original. It's missing its hub cap anyway. But they're the same as the blue ones. So what I'm going to have to do is find a set of original Nissan wheels, which is going to be quite a challenge, isn't it? This is why I need your help. Or find one 14-inch wheel like that. You can't have an odd set of wheels, can you, on a car? I've had this up on a ramp already, and it needs a little bit of welding, but nowhere near as much as that. This one, I think, for a few £100, will be back on the road. We've got the, hang on a second, we've got the front reg plate there, which is detachable, which is handy, isn't it? In case you want to take it off. So that needs refitting, which can go there. That's all well and good. What else can I show you? Oh, let me show you this actually. The interior needs a good clean, but it's all complete and it's all there. Look at my boot struts. It is in better condition, isn't it, than the other one? The parcel shelf's broken, so I could do with finding a new parcel shelf. Someone's repaired this at some point in its life. And yeah, it's even got its original Nissan plates from a place called Howard Garages in Weston. So that, ladies and gents, is about it. Now the blue one's quite a big project, this white one isn't. In fact, what I'm going to do for now, because the white one doesn't need anywhere near as much work, what I'm going to do to get one of these on the road quickly is to put the wheels and tyres from the blue one onto the white one. That's my first job. Then get the little bit of welding done on this one, then give it a full service, maybe get the gearbox serviced as well. This one's done 147,000 miles, whereas the blue one's done 141. So very similar really. That's my plan. Get the white one done first, then eventually move on to the blue one. But like I say, I could do with your help. So I need a set of Nissan wheels, I need a parcel shelf for an NX, I need a glove compartment because this one's, well, let me show you actually. It's kind of broken. The back has come away from the front. Someone's tried to glue it, but it's not right. That needs attention. What I could do with really is another NX to use as a donor vehicle. One that's in terrible shape that I can't really put back on the road. That's what I need. Or if you happen to know somebody that's got a set of Nissan wheels. Now I think I could put micro alloys on it or Almira alloys. I think anything will work. Yeah, if you happen to know of anything, let me know below in the comments or email me, Matt with 2 T's at highpeakautos.com. I anticipate my spend on this white one will be about 500 or 600 quid. Now bear in mind I paid just £600 for it. This one should owe me 12, no, let's increase the budget. Let me say then, this one will owe me about £1,500 all done and dusted, whereas that one's going to owe me about 3. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, to be honest, but when has that ever stopped me? So I think that's about it, guys. Thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the link below. And yeah, see you next time.